And we are live. Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
I love those guys.
Oh yeah, thank you. I love you too. Thank you. And welcome to Wednesday night with those guys. And as you know, Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys. And this is where we talk about everything in the drone world and promote the usage of drones. Please, if the weather has, listen. If the weather is nice where you are, please, if you've been able to get out and fly your drone, let me know how the weather is where you are and if you've been able to get out and fly your drones, because we have wished for warm weather, and I think the thermostat is broken because it is no longer warm. It is entirely hot. We've been in the middle of a heat wave here, and they claim it's going to calm down a little bit tomorrow. Now, when you're telling me it's 99 or 98 in the pan and feels like 100 and something, I don't know what a calm down is right now. You know, what is a calm down?
I don't know, man.
I'm changing clothes twice and carrying towels around with me to make sure.
And rags, yeah. And I have a rag in my pocket now.
I'm like, I get to places and I don't want to get out the car.
RJ says it's 93 and feels like 102 in East Tennessee.
Wow.
Don't worry, SJM. All this hot weather's coming to you guys. There's a possibility it'll make it.
It's getting nice and warm out here, man.
Yes. Right now, it's saying it's 90. Oh, it went down. Right now, where I'm at, it's saying it's 96 degrees and feels like 104. That's
well,
crazy.
how are you doing, Lawrence, on this wonderful hot-ass Wednesday?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm staying cool. Thank goodness for air conditioning.
Yeah.
A wilted flower. It's been bad the last 3 days. Today's the last day of the heat wave, right?
Oh yeah. Well, they say so.
You know what I'm curious. Claim, yeah.
You know, I'm curious to know. They always say when it gets hot like this, right? They ask everyone, right, to conserve energy. Do not use your air conditioner if you don't need it.
Put it on low.
This level and this
energy saving.
Yeah. Now, my problem with all of that is, do you tell the big department stores that shit?
True. That's true. When they got all the TVs on, the air conditioning.
Right. You tell these high-rise buildings that shit.
Yeah, that's why they're telling us, so we can conserve energy for them.
Right, so but you know, I don't know. I guess when it all goes, it goes, right?
Yeah.
But apparently, a few people in certain areas lost power, and they're getting the power back. You know, I'm sorry, about that, but I mean, a few people are getting the power back now, from what I'm hearing. Because during the early days, the first day of that heat wave, there was some people who power.
Yeah, they're surprisingly, it wasn't too bad in New York. Usually we get heat waves, the trains mess up coming from Jersey. What else? The train, because the lines be overloading. What happened?
The bottom line is that we need to upgrade systems. We need more power.
Yeah,
we need more power, Captain. No, but in regardless of all of those jokes aside, we need it. But every time there's an idea for a project, everybody says, "Yeah, we need it," but just don't put it in my backyard.
In my neighborhood. Don't put it in my neighborhood. Don't put it on my block.
Yeah, don't. You know what I mean? We need it. Just don't put it near me. You know what I mean? Put it over there. And the guy over there.
When they were housing, you remember when they were housing the immigrants? Hey, John Coopy.
Yeah.
When they were housing the immigrants when they first started, everyone was like, "Oh, nice! They're putting them in hotels." So then the hotels started getting full in Manhattan, They started putting them in the outer borough hotels. Now everyone's in an uproar. Oh hell no, not in our neighborhood. You remember? Yeah.
Well, they well no well they, there was a problem with them being in the Manhattan hotels too, because
What's up, John Coopy?
if,
How are you, man?
if you ever stayed in the Roosevelt Hotel, you'd have taken one of those rooms too.
Oh shoot. I hear you. Well, John Coopy says the Northeast held up well. That's good. We didn't have any major blackouts, which is true. I usually expect the first heat wave to have a blackout, but we seem to be, like you said, our infrastructure needs more power. We need more power. And those
More
windmills,
power.
FYI, that they stopped off the coast of New Jersey and New York, that hundred and something windmills, um, turbines they planned on putting out there, well, that's been put on hold due to certain cuts from the government. So now, whether New York will get more power and become independent, because we get most of our power from upstate and up in Canada, our fuel,
Mhm.
our oil lines, a lot comes, our water comes from upstate.
Well, see, that would also be like the argument I think that would be made. Like, for instance, the Hudson River, right?
Yeah,
Not to go away from Jonesboro, just to go away from Jonesboro, but the Hudson River, right, could create power, but I don't know how
yes.
deep it is. I don't know how deep it is in certain places
The further up north you
to
go, the deeper it
submerge.
gets. And,
Right,
and
but
then and then it
but
narrows down
we need
between
it down
Manhattan.
here.
Right. It narrows down where we're at in the five boroughs
I
between
I get
Manhattan.
that, but
And
you need
then it
it down.
opens up again once you hit the Verrazano. It gets deep again.
I no, but it's not the Hudson over there. It's not the
Yeah,
Hudson
that's
River
true.
anymore.
That's true. But up
You
north, the Hudson would
don't
be a great source of power. Like they're using Niagara. They're using Niagara's water to turn turbines, right?
that's happening. They use the water out in Nevada, right, for power, right?
John Coopy says Trump hates windmills and says they kill birds and drive whales crazy.
Let me see if I got this straight. It kills birds.
No,
We
it,
can
it,
see it.
it kills birds and
We,
it drives whales crazy. That was his
we can
excuse
see
for,
it.
for
We
why
can
so
see
many.
it.
Huh?
We can see it spinning, and the whales don't see it in the water. I got you.
Well, according to him, I did hear something
The
close to that.
frequency.
He was blaming Herman the recent rash of whales beaching themselves along the
Yeah.
northeastern coast. He blames it on the work that's being done out at those wind turbines because they've been
Uh-huh.
putting down the bases. He claims the whales are going crazy from it and just jumping on the sand. That's what I heard. They're beaching themselves because of what we're doing out there. That's what he said, basically. But what do we know? The windmills are driving the whales crazy. Actual
So, so
2000
he,
foot quote.
so
Thank you, John
he
Coopy, for
interviewed
fact
us.
checking that. Yes, he,
He
he did
interviewed a
say
few.
he did prove fact check it. The windmills are driving the whales crazy. Actual
Uh,
2025 quote from our great leader. But anyway,
so
getting back to our format,
yeah, I don't know. I guess he spoke to a few of them. I don't know, but
he spoke to a few whales, gave one a psychiatric test.
listen, your man did it in the movie, right? Was it when he was with your man Wilson
Oh
and they was
yeah,
on?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's Tom
didn't
Hanks.
he,
Yeah.
didn't he
It's
like? I Who fun, yo, like
Yeah, he
I'm
did
good.
have a
I'm good. I'm
conversation with a
good.
volleyball.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'd have shit myself in that situation. You know what, Lawrence cut up this September? I guess, right? They got
Yeah.
this Northeast uh, U.S. drone meetup.
Wow, how long was it up there?
I
I
guess
was,
for
I
a
was
few
in another
seconds.
I was in another
Was it?
window.
It was up there for a few minutes, a few
Okay.
seconds. But yeah, it's coming up to what, September 5th through the 7th, and I'm quite sure you guys have heard about it. You should have heard about it. Please, please, please. They got a meet and greet going on the 5th at Snookers. It's like a sports bar with you got pool, you can shoot pool, and you got drinks. So and food. Don't forget food. You got drinks and food and pool. Don't got to get there. And on
Okay.
right, it was the 6th is the day of the actual meetup where guys will have the first flight, I guess, at the location for the meetup. But they have a few places set up for guys, I guess, set for guys to go and fly from. I've been up in that area of Rhode Island before, and there's a lot of places to fly. You can get a lot of great footage. There's no reason why you should, if you went out there and you didn't get any shots, that's on you.
It's true. There's so much stuff because Mark Fisher was our host, and the first night we got up, hey Philip Koshak, the first night we got out there, Herman,
Ew.
if you remember, we went to dinner.
Mhm.
That was
Yes.
okay, dinner. But that same night we went and flew to City of Providence from
Yeah.
this park that overlooked the city. You remember that
Hmm.
ledge? And they were giving tours to tourists while we
Hmm.
were flying our drones. But
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting.
But there's also a link in the description, guys, for their YouTube, not YouTube, but Facebook page. You gotta check those guys out. There's a link down in the description for the
Hmm.
hotel. You what the heck happened? I've been robbed.
What
Oh,
happened?
I've been robbed. Oh, I got it. The itinerary for the trip. You got to
Okay.
get that. You got to get the itinerary. You got to print it out. Check it out. I'm telling you, this is going to be the meetup. Check it out.
And it's the fact that it's in September, it'll be a lot cooler, a lot
Oh
more
yeah.
comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm debating on whether I should just come straight FPV or bring a camera. I have to bring a camera drone because the last time I had my Air 2S. Now I have something that has night mode. I'd love to shoot the city of Providence again.
Oh yeah. See, plus if you bring a camera drone, I could show you some shots.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Listen, for those of you who don't know, when I met Herman, the first day I met him, he told me he went to school for camera and film work and all that stuff. You remember Herman, right? And he told me there was only one thing I did not know how to do, and I'd like to learn how to do, and that was edit video. And I told him I could show him how to edit. And right now, till present day, 2025. June 25th, Herman is the Martin Scorsese of those guys, Ariel. If he says he wants a shot a certain way, if you get the shot that way, trust me, it's going to be a good shot. So I like to compliment you on that. You've come
Oh
a
thank you.
long way, long, long way, seriously.
Oh thank you. Thank you very much.
You know why that is, right?
I
What?
love those guys.
Yeah, I
Yes,
love it.
she
I
loves
love
those
it.
guys. We love her back. And we love you guys too. Hoping to make it my debut night flight in Providence. Dude, if
Oh,
I don't remember the name of the park, but there's only one park that overlooks. Always bring a camera bird,
what
even
is
if it's
that
just a
part?
mini. I
I don't know
agree.
what that is. I don't remember the name of that part.
We don't know
But
the name of it,
we
Josh,
were
but
there with Mark and Deneen and yeah, it was
Deneen Pagan, me, Herman, Mark Fisher, and there was one other person I think with us. I can't remember who the extra person
yeah,
was.
it was that night before we went back to hotel and stuff like that before the meetup. Right?
Yeah, yeah. The night we got there a night early, and you could fly the whole city of Providence, and then you have the Superman building with the green light on top. They used it in one of the early Superman movies.
Uh
The
huh.
Capitol is right there.
Hmm.
The government building is set up nice. It looks like a miniature White House. It's nice
Okay.
up there. Beautiful.
Well, you know what, Lawrence? You
Yeah.
know, I wanted to tell you,
What time is it?
we got a few people in the chat, about 13 people watching it, right? Supposedly, right? Supposedly, 13 people watching. So we haven't done a roll call yet. We're going on and on and on. But
Okay. All right.
we need to do a roll call. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm just saying.
I'm ready. Let's rock. I'm ready to go as soon
So
as you are.
who,
So we
so
can
who
give.
do we, so
Go ahead.
so who do we have in the house with us tonight? Because
All right.
I'm thinking about hitting
Tonight
that
we
like button.
have the Philip Koshat, the Shat Show. What's up, Philip? We still haven't done anything with that music you gave us. We're working on it. Promise you. Shout out to Philip. Shout out to RJ Ron. RJ's Ariel down in Tennessee. John Coopy. Shout out to him. One of my first
John
FPV Corner
Cooper.
interviews. Shout out to John Coopy. Josh, Primac Media, shout out to you
Josh,
up
what's good,
north
man?
or helping organize that Northeast meetup. Shout out to the Bronx, represented by Takeoff Lift and Land, Bronx, New York. That's Eldon.
What's
Shout
up,
out to my man
Elton?
Eldon in the Bronx there. We also give a shout out to, hold it, SJM,
That's Jim.
SJM across the pond. I'm sorry. I got lost. John Olson's listening in the cut. Shout
John
out to John
Olson.
representing Long Island. We got Dominic, early morning time, all the way over in Australia, the world down under, Northside Hawk. I hope you're still here listening. And I think, oh, Bull Rider, listening in from Mexico. He retired in Mexico. I'm so envious. Shout out to
Oh,
Jaybird Bull Rider.
course.
And that is it, bro. We are good.
All right, we good.
Welcome, 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 everyone. And if you missed roll call, wah, 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 you know what? I don't have to make sound effects anymore. If you missed it, I'm sorry, you missed it. Like, all I can say is maybe
Next,
next same bat time, same bat channel.
funny.
There we go.
Uh,
What's up? What's coming up, man? Huh?
I believe what happened, right? You took that sound effect you were looking for out and put the one that you wanted.
I know. I went to go look for the sound effect. Like, oh, it's not there. I put that one. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. You caught that. Louisiana Helican, what's up, man? How are you?
That's why I don't put them there.
Oh, you saw that. You saw my face, right? I went and clicked. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's not there anymore. Uh,
That's funny. That's why I don't put them there.
I see that now. I
Uh,
see that. All right.
but anyhow, going back to Elijah, also uh, going to talk about, like, not only is that's going to be the meetup of the year, but well, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But it's going to be the meetup of you know September probably. You know? So
Yes.
last week when we were here, right, we had a couple of things we were talking about, and one of the things that we mentioned last week was the Osmo 360, because these guys, your guys Jasper, they
Mm-hmm.
happen to be all over it. You know,
Right.
you can see that tweet that Lawrence that he posted.
Yes. Yes, I
Uh,
can. Okay. The
the,
Osmo. The Osmo 360, the Nano. We. Oh, there we go. We will first see the Osmo 360, the Nano 1 week later, and last but not least, the Mic 3. July will be a fun Osmo packed month. It sounds like it's a multimedia creator month.
Now, yeah, because they talked about that thing extensively, and I guess the people over at Drone XL, they all over it, because um, Jasper happens to right, for drone XL now. So they're getting all of the skinny and all of the dip dive and everything on it. So there was a release date on that, right? There was a release date on that, right? What was the release date on that one? That was what? Um, that what was the release date on that one, Lawrence? Oh, the
On the
15th, right?
yes,
July 15th was the release date they had on that one, right?
yes, that was the first release date that they had.
Right.
Then they gave up a few more
No, but July 15th was the release date on that
on the
supposed
Osmo.
for the 360, right?
Yes, the
Then
Osmo
also
360.
last week we spoke about the Nano. Remember that one?
Yes. And it's Insta360. Go eat your heart out. The new DJI Osmo Nano launching July 23rd will be this rectangular wearable little camera thingy. It the picture went away. So okay, wearable magnetic with modular design. To be frank, I hoped it would be smaller than this, like the Mic Mini. Warren, like, please take note. It's a small camera. It's a small camera, and I think it'll do pretty good.
Yeah, I
Everyone's
like the way
everything's
it looks. I
everything's
like
getting
the way it
smaller,
looks. Yeah, I
and
like
you
the way
can
it looks for that.
right.
But for like you FPV guys, I don't know so much because it's not really a great mountable form factor.
But since they have 3D printing, you can put a camera on anything now.
I guess.
Yeah. You have the measurements to it, and you can put a camera on anything, bro. There's some guys out there. If you put your hand, if you can have your hand 3D scanned, they can
No, I'm
print it
good.
out. They can print it out, bro.
No, I'm good because I don't. I don't know about
Yo,
that.
Herman, if
No,
you go
hold
to
on,
these sites,
hold
yeah.
on. I'm good. I've seen some of these guys 3D prints as opposed to like some of the stuff that they're actually doing for that kind of work.
Yeah.
No, no comparison.
Well,
Have you
that,
ever
they,
seen the 3D printed hand
that, yes, yeah,
that works? I'm talking about that actually works.
yes. I've seen their
Okay.
moving articulated hands. Yes, where the
No,
joints are, all of the
yeah,
joints are just basically
yeah,
hinges.
that was nice. But from what I'm understanding, this thing that we were talking about, not to cut you off, but the Nano
Hmm.
is supposedly releasing what, July 23rd,
Yes,
right? And then
yeah,
they supposedly also have some. Remember, we talked about the mics and we had the FCC label
yeah,
for the mics,
yeah.
the mics 3. They were like, mics already, new mics? But supposedly that's what, July 29th, all happening this year, believe it or not. So DJI is getting busy. They're pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. They're pushing them. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. They're
But
pushing.
it's a media creator's dream to have all of
Well,
that stuff.
well, yeah. Well, that's what DJI is doing. They they produce products for creators.
And we might have a story to do next week because I just saw some information about something Insta360 is doing. They're known for their cameras,
Yeah, I
their
know. I saw it too.
360. You
The
saw that article?
microphones.
Yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes. So Insta360 is working on a coin-sized microphone to carry that comes with a windshield to protect it from direct blast of the wind and
Hmm.
a supposedly great noise cancellation. We
Yeah,
shall see.
you'll hear about that on Monday.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um,
Yeah, but
I have to remind myself to turn that banner off, man. I turn it on sometimes, and I just forget it's there running.
oh, well, you see, the banner is cool running when when nothing is being shared, but when anything is on the screen, then you can actually, it's in the studio, you can see the timeline. You can't see it when the banner's on.
Welcome,
Yeah,
FTFO Media. How are you?
welcome, 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 welcome.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
we're actually going to break history tonight on FPV Corner because
Oh,
we'll have the first female FPV pilot on here. I'm working a new angle
okay.
with
A,
FPV pilots.
a different angle.
Hmm.
Okay.
Everyone is working leaning to the left. I'm working a different angle.
Okay. I
And
keep
when I
seeing
say leaning to the left, I'm not talking politics.
what's wrong with this chair. It's getting kind of weird now. All right.
You didn't break it again?
No, I wasn't playing it.
Okay.
No,
Riding it across the living room, sliding in it.
it got jokes. I told you. If they tell you that it can do this, that, and the other, I'm going to try to figure it out how it can.
Yeah, that was proven.
And it didn't. So, anyhow, moving right along. From what I'm understanding here, Lawrence,
Yeah.
uh, your good old favorite, because I know you love the sub 250 category, right? And in
They're
spite of the
okay.
fact, in spite of the fact that we can't
Get rid of them?
get, no, we can't get the Mavic 4 that you know half the dudes wasn't gonna buy anyway. We
Yeah.
can't get it in the country, So and then sometimes some people had it in their cart, didn't want to buy it, put it back in their cart,
Yeah.
didn't buy it. Now that the drone's not available,
They
they want
got
to buy it. They got it. You know what I mean? So I mean, and so it was. I guess it was the luck of the draw, right?
I guess some really incredible luck, I'd have to
Yeah.
say. But getting
So
back
I mean,
to
it's been the toughest thing to do. But I mean, if you wanted it the first day it was released, stores here in New York had it. I know for a fact the DJI store here in New York
in
had
New
it.
York, yes, people travel from out of state here. Mark Fisher
I,
came from Rhode
but
Island.
I can't contest that Adorama had it because I know they had it and they listed.
Yes.
They never said they had shit. I know.
Whether
I
they
mean,
ever got any,
but
I don't know till
I
present
did
day.
call, but I did call B&H and speak to them. B&H never had it.
Yeah.
They had it on a thing, and they put everybody who was getting it, who wanted it, on a list of
And
who
also
wanted.
Adorama and B&H are based, they basically, they communicate. What B&H doesn't have, Adorama might, and I've seen them transfer stuff between stores. So uh, who knows? Now nothing's coming in. Nobody's getting anything.
Well, I don't
Or is
know,
that
but
is
I'm just
that
saying the Mini
the
5
Mini
Pro, right?
5?
Yeah, the Mini 5, yeah, Pro, right? It's the Pro. It's a Pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So,
It is a
um,
pro.
last week we had a post by Jasper, right, on
Yeah.
the Mini 5 Pro because we spoke a little bit on this last week.
Yeah, see, the Jasper put. So I heard the official release date of the Mini 5 Pro, but I can't share it because I cross-checked my resources. Some of you would lynch me if I'm wrong. Patience, please, and no, I'll be back with some exciting and good news. And he
Right.
did come back with some news.
Yeah, he did. But the funny part about it is that also, like I said last week, this surfaced, and I had saw this from that what's his name there, drones, that guy.
Yeah,
This, yeah, that picture.
the picture of the Mini 5 or the Mini 5 demo because people were saying that these props are not bendable, foldable props. That they're solid one mold, single mold props.
Uh
And
huh.
I thought that that was funny because the only other version that had that, I think, was the Neo or something to that effect. And they say
Okay.
it's loud. Or is it the Neo or the Flip? No, the Flip has single props.
The fleet.
The Flip, right, had solid single one prop. You would screw on in the middle, and that was it. Like the old Phantoms used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And people say that those props are definitely noisier than the standard
Sure they are.
Plexi. Huh?
Sure they are because the ability to move cuts
And bend,
down the
right.
it cuts down the what do you call it, the sound.
Yeah, so
Um, the
it will be a little
the
loud if those props are on it. But the
l-
guy,
last,
but also they also believe that because, hey, Frank Rizzo, they also believe, hey, Wade, Cloyd, how are you? That they also believe that those were just practice props.
mhm.
They may not want you to see a new style prop or whatever
Of
they're
course
working
not.
on.
Of course not. It's always going to be whatever they're doing and make the pictures look like it's some scandalous shit, so that way it look like, well, we snuck, we got the camera on the button on our shirt. We just clicking it from our pocket, flipping a
Right.
quarter
Cause, right. Cause can you put the picture back up for a second? I just want to
of the
point out
drone
something and we'll get on with this Mini 5, this
of the
Mavic
drone.
5. Yes, yes, the single one. This one here. If you notice, all the obstacle avoidance is in the front of the drone. And
Well,
later
that's because
on,
it probably goes from the front to the back with that one and that. See how the
it does.
the
They will probably
yeah.
overlap. But
No,
we
no, no.
mentioned,
If you look at the way, okay, I'm going to bring it back up. If you can look into the front of that, directly across from the hub of the prop
yeah,
to the body of the drone. You look at that body of the drone. You can look and put a camera to the front and the back through that body.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, there's a picture that you're going to show later on that
Mhm.
introduces the possibility of LiDAR.
Well, there's a couple of things that's going on, but there was another thing that was posted last week that we also showed. And it was another post, and this one came from your man Igor, where that shot came from.
Okay, our baby Mini 5, yeah, that was right, the one I was cropped in on. Our baby, the Mini 5 Pro, close up on one of these test days. That was the picture of it zoomed in. So it's
Mhm.
definitely the mini feature. The Mini 5 Pro, the Mini series has done great with
Mhm.
DJI. Now my question is, and maybe you want to ask people in the chat also,
Mhm.
since we didn't get the Mavic 4, do you really think we're going to get the Mavic 5? So all I'm saying is
Well,
don't
I'm
start
not going to
licking.
get into Mavic fives, but because we haven't even seen a four yet. But
Yeah. No, I mean
uh,
the Mini 5. Do you think
yeah, the
they
mini.
will allow that in?
I don't. I don't know. I really don't know. I just looking at what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing.
Right, right,
It's,
right. We're just letting you
I'm
guys
looking
know
at
what's going on.
the things that are popping up, and I know like what was it, the 21st or whatever? There were posts by guys like uh, you know Jasper and well, it says Jasper Ego, and both of them post stuff that came out on the 18th, right? Didn't they both
Yeah.
post on the 18th? Because this is what you were talking about, Jasper's post.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I was in another window. Here we go. Yes. Yeah, nice pictures I got. It's actually almost unreadable for me, but it shows the possibility of it having LiDAR. The picture on the right there, those are the LiDAR sensors that they claim for it to have. The caption even mentions something about LiDAR. The single prop, which is noisier, and that little lidar that would probably help it at night for
Mm.
flying at night
Well,
forward because they're in the front. Now
that's quite interesting because
think about it. We're
they're all
slowly.
going with the lidar to being able to improve their ability to see in low light.
You see what John Coopy put? He put the Mini 5 will get blocked the same way all of DJI products continue to be as CBP has ratchet up enforcement. The Mini 5 will be a rare item in the United States. This is true, John.
You
I
know
agree
what?
because I see people like contacting our friend Gary Brant
You,
Aerials and
you know what's funny about that?
in Canada and having it shipped here.
I'm glad you say that because there's talking about a release date of August 7th for this thing,
Yeah,
right?
for the Mini 5. So it'll
And
release on August 7th or around, but whether
you know
it'll release here in the States, I
because
don't think so either,
Jasper
John.
because Jasper actually had another post on that, and there was some exclusives that went over to Drone Excel,
Can I
and
Yeah, go ahead.
what happened?
Go ahead, finish first. I'll respond to John after you finish.
Oh no, Drone Excel has the exclusive on those things, on that whole on the leaks and everything like that because
We're
Jasper.
7 minutes past our first sponsor, but in response to John Coopy, he says, have you seen the stories about people having warranty replacements from Canada that DJI is shipping confiscated by customs now? I have, John, but I also want to point out that people can get them in Canada and other places outside the United States. And what is going to happen is if you want a four or anything else from DJI, you may have to have a friend in another country and have them
Yeah,
ship it to
that's
you.
willing to handle your shipping and repairs for you too.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it comes down to. Because I'm not going to spend $5,000 on a drone from Canada from Gary and not be able to afford to send it back to him. Like it's an investment. But I have noticed, John Coopy, Herman, I have not. I just switched over to digital a
Hmm.
little late, as in like the last 3 years. I've switched over, and I cannot find any DJI O3 Air units. And I'd
I don't
be
know.
damned if
I
I'm
don't.
going to switch to O4 if I can't
I
even
don't
get
know.
the O3. I,
I don't know what to tell you,
I
but
still
I
have
know.
Caddx in my shit.
I
I still got two birds that I could have converted over to O3, but because of all of this going on, O3
Mhm.
units are scarce or zero to none to find.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, but it's dark days here for DJI,
Yes, it is.
and new drones, old drones. If you go and you check it out, I don't know what's happening. I'm a
Hey,
scared
Gary. Gary was
because
listening.
DJI drones out of stock,
Yep.
out of stock. What's going
Yes.
on?
Out of
You know,
stock, as in a lot of
stock.
places.
If you look on DJI's online site here in or website here in America,
Uh huh.
DJI drones, and I'm not talking about the Mavic 4. I'm talking about the whole fleet of drones out of stock. Um, Now I don't know if this happens has anything to do with some of the recent occurrence that's been going on. Because from what I've heard somebody some chit chat here and there about that this is not only here in America, but this is happening elsewhere. And I checked with my head moderator, and he confirmed to me that up in Canada that they do have the DJI drones
Yes. Yes.
on
Yes.
the online store. Um, from further looking around on the online store here, I realized that this is not only affecting the drones, that some of the other stuff is not, and I don't know if this is just regular DJI issues where they are having trouble getting stuff past customs because of the other issues that DJI has had. But I've noticed that this has affected action cams, mics, Osmos, the Ronins. Now I noticed that some of the Ronin cameras, the I know that the 6K joint you can still get that, and then a few other things I've seen that you're still able to click on, add it to your cart. Whether or not you can or not, I didn't go that far because I'm not putting that camera in my cart and to have to figure out how to get it out. Um, so I'm just saying that some of those things I saw that were still available. Some of the mics, the refurbished stuff I saw was on there, was available. But as far as the drones are concerned, not a
Mm.
near one, none,
Hmm.
no drones,
Yeah.
and that's a scary thing, that's happening. Um,
So you're saying we will be able to get DJI stuff, but they will no longer be DJI drones. Okay, Ron.
I don't know if you'll ever be able. I'm not saying that you'll never be able to get DJI drones, but what I'm
Well,
seeing
as
right
for
now
coming up, yeah,
is
the
that
near future.
you're not able to get any DJI drones, and the fact that the Mavic 4, right? We saw the FCC label; it was approved, right, to be
Hmm.
in America, and the Mini 5 Pro, right, is also
Hmm.
have
Also
FCC,
has an FCC
right?
label.
And we remember what John Coopy said. Now, I'm not trying to take a dig at anybody or any whatever, but I'm one of those guys that call a spade a spade. And this current administration is about break the law first, and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah,
And you know, even if they do have an FCC approval, they won't get into the country, and then by the time whether or not you want to ban them or not, then whatever. Because let's be real, everyone is worried to hell about the fact that um, they won't meet the audit deadlines.
right.
DJI is pushing for the audits to be done. They welcome the audits.
Hmm. By
We're going to talk.
anyone who's willing to do it.
We're going to actually talk more about that too. But the thing is, what's scary? What's scary about that, right? And I've said this 100 times over to you guys, and I've said this before, and and many of you guys have talked about this for years. We've all have friends and people that we know that may fly their drones a little crazy, and we've all had guys that say, "Oh, this nobody wanted to ever be the drone police, as they call it, the drone police."
True.
Oh, you the drone police? Why you worry about I'm flying my drone? You the drone police? There's always a thing about that, and nobody wanted to be policed in the community, and everybody, argued amongst it, and there was more rules after rule after regulation and regulation that came about, and everyone argued and said, it was divided the community of to say that, oh, you see, this happens because guys that don't fly this way, and guys are that's going to happen
Yep.
anyway. It wasn't because I was
Hey, Eddie
flying.
Nunez, what's up, man?
Eddie, what's good, Eddie? So it was always that argument back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But you know, like I said, I call a spade when I see it. And we live in the world of propaganda.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying to you? And what I'm saying to you is that if I cannot prove that you are doing something, I can always lie and say that you did. And if I don't have to prove it to anyone, then it
Right.
doesn't matter. So what I mean by that is that it's funny how this was always a thing where guys when this all first started happening and guys saw things happening in the industry, guys, well, somewhat of what you might call a paranoia would say that, oh, they're coming for the hobby, they want to take away what we have, and people would look at you as if you're crazy and say that no, they don't, no, they're not coming for the hobby, they're not coming for the hobby. As someone who flies drones, and if you fly drones, and if they're attacking the only means to what you do, then it would seem that way, and it's only going to seem that way, and there's no other way of looking at it.
Hey,
Um,
Jim.
what happened, Lawrence?
I was saying, hey, welcome to Jim.
So there's actually, you're going to see it that way. There's actually no other way of looking at it. The problem is, and you've probably heard me say this here, and I've looked at this since I've gotten into this and doing these live streams, and I look at a lot of the things that are out there and what's um, out coming down the pike. And I don't know for many of you who've ever started watching us or when you started watching the live stream, I've always talked about the symposiums. Um, we started doing this back when we were in the IPP program. And then now we've moved into the beyond phase until now. When we spoke back in the IPP program, we spoke about beyond visual line of sight from back then. And it was talk about how cameras needed to be better on these drones to be able to see and be able to get good situational awareness and sensors so that you can have this beyond visual line of sight. So here we are today now, right? With some of the things that we talked about back then to now. And and when they say that guys are paranoid and talk about how they come in for the hobby, and I tell you about the propaganda machine, but I also tell you that if they were to cripple DJI Autel, then what other drones does the hobby have to fly to the magnitude of what we fly?
Yeah,
There's no one else that does it. But there's
right.
there's people, there's lawmakers and politicians out there that say things that are crippling to what we do. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but we had Vic Moss on. What was it? Around the time when DJI had removed the geofencing from the drones,
Yes, yes. I do remember that.
and once again, like I said, I don't care. I call a name. I call a name. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, I asked Vic if he saw the video and what she had said, and he said what she said was a lie, but she
Yep,
said it.
right.
And and when you get into the world of propaganda, it's dangerous enough. You got that, Lawrence? It's
Yeah, I'm
dangerous
wait.
enough.
I got it queued up, waiting on you.
Yeah, yeah, run it. It's dangerous enough for the words that it comes out of people's mouth.
Yeah, just listen to this, guys.
Was flying into Washington from West Palm Beach yesterday afternoon, and we're approaching into Washington, D.C., making our way to land at DCA, and the pilot comes on and he says that he's having to reroute and come in and land from another direction due to unauthorized drones over the White House. I mean, you talk about shocked. Everybody was looking around like, what? Did we actually hear the pilot say that? I immediately sent a message to Homeland. We've got to have a hearing on this. We need to investigate this. We need answers immediately. But I want to take this to another level because the news came out today, Sean, and I'm sure you saw it. The Chinese drone company DJI, which really dominates the marketplace, the majority of the marketplace with drones. They just lifted their geofencing restrictions on their drones, meaning that their drones will they will now be able to fly over our military bases. They will now be able to fly over the White House. And this is all because of the Chinese company DJI has lifted that geofencing. This is a direct threat to our national security by China because we know companies in China are owned by the Chinese government. And I'm calling for swift action with our incoming administration. We should ban these drones. We should not allow.
Now,
Anyway,
now, I want you to see the point of what I'm making is how damaging propaganda is.
right.
You understand? I don't care who it comes from, blue, red, green, purple. I don't care because as you guys who fly drones, you have been made out to be a public nuisance. And that's why That's what they will use to ban DJI.
Yep. Propaganda. Yes. Welcome back,
You
Louisiana.
understand? Because right now, DJI drones and products are being held up. Unless you want a power bank or something like that, that's fine. Everything
Yeah.
else is being held up. Why? Because of the nonsense. What? They claim that DJI supposedly has human rights violations.
It
The
is a mix of security and economic issues, but it's one that the government has created to stop someone from doing something that they can't do. They didn't just say, we don't want you selling your drones here. They're saying, look, this is our basketball court, and we don't want to play ball with you no more.
You've created a mass hysteria for years till you finally got what you wanted.
Oh, get out. John Coopy says he forgot who it was but in the chat, but someone reported a power bank was sent back by customs yesterday in
Mm-hmm.
Build a Drone Reviewer's chat.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's coming from DJI with a DJ if they know it's coming from DJI customs, it's
Mm-hmm.
not getting in the country.
That's crazy
Now, if
because
you call your friend across the border, across the Canadian border, or contact Frank Rizzo mentioned this, or contact um, Paul Murray, you can get him. It takes him 10 minutes to drive across into Canada and come back.
no, but what I'm saying is, company places like what do they call it, B&H, they actually have their own storage warehouse. So if you can get whatever they got, get it before they can get going. But I don't know. I mean, it's tough right now. It's really tough because you know it's that time, man. When the stuff is, you're not going to be able to get anything because in this article, right, according to what's these people over there at Drone DJ,
Yeah.
what drone should you buy right
Yes.
now in the summer of 2025? And it's funny they put that because they listed as the Mavic 4 Pro, and then the Air 3S,
The
and then the
Mavic
Mini
4
4
Pro,
Pro.
the Air 3S, the Mini.
Right, but if you can find them,
Right. Therein lies the
and
problem.
and that's the crazy part because these drones are so scarce, now, and especially when you can't go to the DJI online store and just pop in a couple of days. There's one on your doorstep, and they were pretty good at that. I don't care what anybody says. I know that it was like with 4 days, 5 days, you can get something here.
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, I never questioned it, on except for the time when the shipment got lost.
Right, but it's really like you said. It is weird that Drone DJ would have this article. What drones would you buy in 2025? And they go on to say there are options, but the options are getting smaller and smaller. So
Right.
wherever you hear that they have a Mini or something like that, you might want to pick up a Mini or a Mavic 3 Pro. But as far as getting the Mavic 4 Pro,
Mhm.
the Air 3S, and it might be a little hard. Those
Well,
supplies here in the States are diminishing.
well, what I will say to you guys is this, and I've seen this before with DJI because we've been through this before with DJI.
Hey, John.
The Mavic 4 Pro had gotten to a point where there were none,
Yep.
and the Mavic 4 Pro, it became a drone that people were hoarding. And then when the V2 came out, guys started hoarding them even more.
Yep. I
Um,
remember.
the Phantom 4 Pro never sold for more than $1,500, and that's the V2 included,
Yep.
unless you had the one that had the screen on the controller. Now,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
now, when the hoarding started because of the scarceness of parts for the drone, and there weren't that many out there, and then there were none on DJI's site, the price of the drone shot up to $2,000. So be careful, guys, with some of these drones and going out there and purchasing drones, because you don't want to get into the price, with the gouging of these drones, where you probably will see it very soon on some certain places where guys like on eBay, and if it hasn't already been happening, um, where guys are, I know it's happened already with the Mavic 4, where guys are reselling the drone for astronomical figures
Right.
because they know there are people in places that can't get it, have no way of getting around it, and have no means to like a neighboring place that has it, that they can get it and swing the deal.
Right. Like they don't have friends in Canada like I do.
Well, that regardless of that, if you can have a friend in Canada and live in Texas, in
True.
in the butt end of Texas, and or and then on Miami. Now, how does that work for
Agreed.
you?
That's true. That's true. You're 100% right about that. Brooklyn Jimmy, what's good, man? Welcome.
Go ahead. I get it from my friend in Mexico.
Hmm. Hmm. Might be cheaper. Might be cheaper. Fortunately, we have allies in Canada. We just need to make some south of the border, and we're good. So no matter where we are in the United States, we
You
can
know
get
what,
stuff
Lawrence?
in.
We passed our sponsor.
And yes, we did pass our sponsor.
Okay.
Um, I just hit up Lady FPV to find out if everything's okay
Uh-huh.
on Messenger. So
Uh-huh.
I'm waiting to see what turns of that. I could smuggle a bunch of tellos across the border, dude.
I'm not going to
Tellos.
get into that.
Who the hell want a damn tello?
But
Well,
let me.
all right. You can say you're
But,
doing it for the STEM program.
but Lawrence, after this sponsor, right? When I come back, I got a real nice juicy question for you.
Okay,
After
good, good.
after this sponsor.
For a live stream that talks about everything in the drone world. Tune in every Wednesday night to Wednesday Night with those guys.
And we are back. And you know what? There is actually no need to ask you that
It
question.
is. We're pretty close to time. We're good.
But there's no need to ask you that question anymore, because I got the answer to it already.
Okay,
But
okay.
we got some things happening here, and I guess we've been doing this segment, right? What called FPV Corner, right? Where
Yes.
we highlight FPV pilots around the drone community, and we bring people on to talk a little bit about what it is that they do and the things that they got going on. And
Correct.
if you guys are interested and would like to come on FPV Corner, please shoot Lawrence a message. I don't know how he's accepted messages.
Yeah,
Shoot
hit
a
me up
message.
on Messenger
Yeah,
or
message
send me
if
a
you got him on
YouTube link or
Facebook.
something.
So something, but tell him like, I'm interested in being on FPV Corner. Or you should just put your email in the chat, so they can just send you an email,
Yeah.
and it'll be easier. So that way that they can send you an email. But we've been highlighting a few people here, and some of the great work that they have. And
And this is a first of all.
tonight is the first time we've had a woman on FPV Corner. So
Yeah.
tonight we have coming to FPV Corner, Lady
We just we
FPV.
just nice of you to fly in.
How's it going?
Good, good.
How
For
you
those of you
doing?
who don't know who this is, first I have to say thank you for being my first female FPV pilot, because I tried. I've been trying for weeks, and I tried to make it work with Kim Fuse. Someone suggested Zoe FPV, which, by the way, Zoe, you never got back to me, so
I'll
I'm gonna
hit her up.
still keep hounding her, and a few other FPV pilots. Introduce yourself, where you're from.
Sure. So my name Lady FPV. My name's Kim. I'm from the Tampa Bay area, so I'm in Florida, and
Okay.
I've been flying drones for since like late 2019. So just kind of got into it, and the rest is history. I've built a whole ton of them. Always been into. I got into like the DJI Mavic, drones first, and then they were too slow, and I started building, and I fell in love with building, fell in love with flying, and it's just kind of been a wrap. So.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you started building because I might be trying something new here. I don't want to give the idea out because on live streams, you hear it on one live stream and then you'll see it on someone else's. But it has something to do with FPV pilots. I'm trying to work something out here. Um,
Okay.
Thanks for coming on. And serious, I was like, what am I cursed or something? I can't get a female FPV pilot on here. I wanted to ask you real quick, what do you fly and what do you prefer to fly? Or what do you prefer to fly?
So I primarily fly, I guess, freestyle, just bashing into things and breaking things. But I think my passion is I like just with FPV quads. My favorite thing to do is just go and fly cinematically or find somewhere that's pretty and get a pretty shot and be able to see the world and video it with drones, I guess.
Okay, because I'll admit I'm a cruiser. I started out cruising because at one time I couldn't repair my drones. Now I can, so I take more risk. But I used to send my drone to Arizona to be repaired, or whoever was willing to repair it in the States. Then I
Mm.
found some local guys, and they were like, "Look, you need to learn how to fix your drone if you expect to do anything." So you're tight with the soldering gun then?
Yeah, yeah, I learned to love it, or at least learned to get used to it. Oh.
And you have some editing skills from some of the videos I was looking through, and how come you don't spend more time pushing videos or life doesn't dictate that? Because I often understand that. And someone in the chat also says, Lady FPV, thanks for all your contributions to our drone FPV community, which
Oh,
pretty much we need more female FPV pilots.
Now I
yeah.
have a question for you. You said you started out with a DJI drone and then you went into the FPV
Yeah.
because it was too slow. Now, what
Um,
you start? You started out with what? You said?
so I started out with a Phantom. Like I got it, and really the appeal was like just doing something cinematic or just having something
Hmm.
and being able to like get the really nice stabilized pictures from the air. But then I
Hmm.
saw somebody flying FPV and where like I still have Mavics, I still use them. They have their application. It's having the freedom to like fly fast or slow or flip around or do whatever is kind of very cool. So that was the draw, and I
No,
just
no,
never
I got
looked
what you're
back.
saying. I got what you're
Now
saying. No,
you say
no, because I
you
was trying to see what when you start because some people that they start out with like the they call it the potato or the piece of shit or whatever, and
yeah.
they're like it's nice but it's not, and they some people stay with it and some people go the other way and they're totally engulfed, you
Hmm.
know.
Now, really quick, have you always flown straight FPV, repairable FPV, or have you tried the DJI Potato and the Avata and those things? Have you tried those?
Yeah, I have an Avata too, and then I never really had the potato. I never really I kind of passed that one over, but I still have that. I have a little Neo. I still think those have their application, but yeah, nothing beats FPV though, and building your own drone like that part is fun and
Okay, so you're saying we're going to start taking notes on
Oh no, I
FPV
totally
pilots
understand that.
when they say this. So you're saying you would
Mhm.
prefer an actual FPV frame as opposed to DJI's FPVs that are
oh,
flying.
absolutely.
Okay, I'm
I
in agreement with
totally
you on that.
understand. I totally understand that. I come from like a car lovers world, so I've had stuff that I'm like, okay, I don't. It's nice, but let's rip all of this out and put in stuff that works better and drive that around.
Uh
Yeah.
huh.
And I told Lawrence already, I have an '03 Escalade. I'm waiting for the opportunity to tear it apart and supercharge it. And
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I picked a video. I picked your monster truck video.
Yes.
Okay, because I actually had a few questions for it, and I'll show the video. I guess we can ask the questions over. I did do a copyright check, and it did not. The song did not come up on Shazam the first time. It did the second time. So let's hope we don't get a copyright strike here. I mean, doesn't matter, but I'm hoping also us talking over it will help that effect.
Yeah.
But this is your the truck. Was this pro bono, or this was somebody letting you just have fun? What's happening here?
Yeah, it was actually with a friend of mine. They had the opportunity, and we just kind of went along and got to fly it. So it was the first and only time that I've been able to fly with monster trucks, and was one of the funnest days of my life. It was so fun.
Well, I do know one thing. I've done it only one time in my life, and I do know if you follow any truck over mud or dirt, your drone comes back filthy. How clean was your drone?
It wasn't too bad. I did actually at the end of this video, you don't see it, but I forgot to watch my battery life, and I actually went down in the back of a truck and had to go and find it.
Oh, I thought you planned that. You should have said nothing. That looks so hot.
Yep.
That's cool though, because I was like, see, that was a nice way to end the video. But this seems interesting. I see you were smart to avoid the flame.
Right.
There. Hold on. I got to come back. Okay, now I can see you guys. If you can remove that. There we go. But that was your first time ever doing monster trucks, and how much fun did you said you had a lot of fun, huh?
Oh yeah, that was one of the best days. If you ever have the opportunity, it's amazing.
You get a chance to go back and do it?
Not yet. Not haven't as of yet, but if I ever I do, I'm gonna jump at the chance.
I'm posting your link in the chat. I mean,
yes,
we're not a large channel here, but we do have people who watch the live stream after we're on. We're actually a morning show in Australia, and in
Awesome.
Hawaii, we're an early afternoon show.
and we
So,
actually,
we have I have a friend that comes. Sometimes he's here. He wakes up and him and his wife listen to us in the morning, all the way in Australia. In fact, there's another guy named Dominic that does. But
we're actually shared in a couple of places too.
yeah, and we are shared across a couple of social media sites. But whatever can be done, I can't promise you 1,000 new subscribers, but I can get you started,
It's
or
totally
help
okay. I
help
appreciate
get you
anything.
started. Now, are you
Like,
working on
hello
any
to
projects
everybody
as of
watching
now?
on Facebook.
Yeah, so I have a little drone company that I
Ah,
just viewed my frame, and so I'm working
Okay.
on that. And just because of all of the shenanigans that are going on with business with China, then it's kind of been on hold. So I'm about ready to drop a V2 of it and get it out in kind of the market. So
so you're saying you have a version two of a frame. What
yeah,
size frame is this? Carbon, of course,
yep,
because carbon rules.
exactly. Right now, I just have a 5 and 6 inch version of the frame, but I'm working on a
Okay.
7 and going down to a 3.5, and just whatever else.
So
It's
how is it going with creating your first frame? What was the process? I mean, did you have a template, or you went to someone for a certain design template? What were you going for? Dead cat, fixed X? What were you going for, looking for in the frame?
so kind of just worked with some other companies and learned how to use Fusion, and then I think after that, I used to fly a frame that was made by a friend and it was local to Florida, and they kind of dropped out of business, and I had several frames of theirs. I'm like, well, I guess if I'm gonna fly a frame, I want to be able to get parts for it, and I decided to make my own and make it with all the things that I like to fly, and you know make it with all the features, and if I wanted to change something, I can always produce it myself. So, and then
Okay. Well, see that's I would have to. Um, how can they hit you up on social media? I mean, I don't know if you want people hitting you up on social media. I know you have a YouTube channel. I can post that link, but to post anything else that you would have to give your permission or tell them to come check me out.
sure.
For example, your Facebook page for your frame.
So the name of the company for the frame is Odyssey Aerials, and it's the Hades. Right now, it's being sold in at myfpvstore.com. We have a couple left there, and then we'll be setting up a shop where you can direct order from me. Anybody that has any questions, to be honest, you can either on Facebook, on Odyssey Aerials, or me. I'm Lady FPV. I'm always on Instagram. That's kind of my central hub. So if you just hit me up anywhere on social media, I can get you in contact with it. So.
Okay, so they can hit you up on FPV at Lady
Lady
FPV
FPV on Instagram. Yes,
Yep.
on Instagram. Okay,
that's good to
no
know.
problem.
And I
But
need
there is a link to your YouTube channel in the description.
Thank you.
yes. So
Appreciate
if
it.
they don't know how to contact you, they should be able to contact you at least there. And I'm sure they're on Instagram. Like you said, you are on the Lady FPV. I do
Lady
Yep.
remember that.
FPV.
I do remember searching for and finding you on there quite easily.
Yep.
Is there anything that you'd like to say to someone that might be thinking about getting into FPV,
Do it.
or you want a warning? You want to tell them leave it alone. It's a very dark hole to fall into.
Uh, it is a hole to throw money into for sure, right?
So
But
how
no,
many friends do you have?
me, I don't have as many as I used to. I've kind of like scaled back, but I have like all the guts from all of my drones. So anytime I need to build something, I can just throw it in.
Mhm.
I've built quite a few over the years.
I
I
see you
probably
giggling. So is there something behind built to quite a few giggling?
yeah, it's an exorbitant amount. But I probably have 10 or 15 that I have or fly, or I like to have two of each in case I destroy one, and then I have at least another one. So
See, I don't feel so bad. I don't have two of everything, but I was until this DJI thing. I
mm,
just converted over to O3 about 2 years ago, 3 years
mm,
ago, and I'm really, really hurting here because I just need two more O3 units. The
mm.
one to put in my 7 inch and one to put in a 6 inch that I have. And then I don't care if they never make another one. I'll just fly it
Right,
until they don't work anymore.
right.
You
I
know,
think
and
I
then
think about
hopefully
that.
by then new technology will be here. What protocol do you use? Are you using
Like you.
ELRS, Crossfire?
I use ELRS, and I'm pretty. I love my DJI stuff too, so I'm a little heartbroken over the recent news. But hopefully they're durable. So hopefully, pending losing one, they should survive. So
Yeah, I kind of hope so too, because I'm like really hurting here. And if I
mm,
wanted to convert over to O4, I can't. I mean, I know they discontinued O3 units, but somebody here in the States has to have a horde of them somewhere.
yeah. Oh no, I'm sure that they do. Yeah.
But I've been doing searches online and it's tough. It's
Well,
tough.
everybody's charging so much money for them right now. So no, just give it a little
I
bit of time.
saw as high as $329 for a
Mm,
unit that was 179, 160,
mhm.
$170. It went from that to $330, yo.
I
Remember when we
told
thought
you.
225 was insane for the O3, and now you can't get them for
Yes,
360.
yes.
I told you to buy a box, Lawrence, but you
Ah,
didn't.
It, yeah, yeah. The Herman's an electrician, so he's like buying bulk. Go to Costco
yeah.
and buy it by the case. You
I,
know?
It's
I
better
agree.
to be it's better to be looking at it than to be looking for it.
I
Yeah.
like that. That's my motto now.
Well, listen, I just wanted to thank you for coming on. And also, please, please, if you know any other female FPV pilots, and I'll hit you up on Messenger while I'm asking for more female FPV pilots. I don't care if they race, I don't care if they freestyle, I don't care if they cruise, even if they're learning. I'm interested in having more female FPV pilots. Like I said, I'll hit you on a text later with where I'm going with that part of an FPV corner. I'm trying to do things a little different.
No, appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me on.
Is there anything you want to say? Anyone you want to say hello to, or I? Well, we can't. We don't condone hate speech. But if you wanted to curse someone out, you can get it out your system.
Oh, I appreciate it. No,
Well, you
I
know what?
will. What's that?
Go ahead, plug your YouTube channel, your Facebook,
Yeah,
your go ahead, knock yourself
your
out.
No,
Instagram, all of that. Get your
Yeah.
plugs in.
I will say that we're talking about women in FPV. There's a whole group, and there's a few different groups, but I'm a part of an organization called Mach 1, and there are women for all around the world, for every corner of the earth. There are women racers, freestyle pilots, long range pilots. There are dozens out there, so
If they
definitely.
can convert their time zone to Eastern Standard Time, I will have them on because that is an issue.
Yeah,
That's,
I know.
that is, we have when we do a camera drone thing, and we have a friend from Finland who comes on. So when he's home in Finland, it's like 3, 4 in the morning.
Wow.
And he's hanging out here with us. He's like, I got to go to bed. But we can make it work. We can definitely make it work. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate you for coming on and being the first female. Hold
Yay.
on, I got to give you an applause for being the first.
Appreciate you guys.
My FPV corner.
Thank
Thank
you.
you much.
Thank
And,
you.
and you enjoy the rest of your evening. I will definitely contact you on Messenger later to thank you for coming on,
Absolutely.
etc. Okay?
Thank you guys.
All
Thank
right.
you
Be
for
well.
thank you. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us and sharing your stories with us.
Absolutely.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Later.
You
Oh,
gotta have
see, that wasn't
you gotta
that
have all
wasn't
that
hard at
together.
all. That wasn't hard. I don't know what I was nervous about, but
Why you scared around the women?
no, no, no. I'm not Raj from Big Bang Theory. I talks around women. I just I've been trying to get a female, for a while. I've
Yeah,
been
I
telling you,
know,
I've
I
been
know.
trying to get female FPV pilots on.
Why is he trying to holler at me? No, I'm just trying to get
No,
you on the
right,
show.
right. That's what the first chick. I was like, look, I'd like to have you. You just started flying FPV. I have a
She
little
reported you
segment.
to
I sent her
Facebook.
links to the show and everything, And she's like, no, I'm not trying to holler at you.
She
What do I
reported you
need
to
another
Facebook.
headache for right now? Don't get me started. Oh, oh, we need that drum roll, man. Dun-dun-dun.
You might have gotten rid of it.
Huh? I might have, right? The drum roll. There's this one here, the drum snare.
No, that
No, we
ain't
need
it.
the drum roll. Okay, I got it out my system. I feel better now. I-
Oh,
you
man.
know, I,
I don't
it,
know.
I agree with you, Jim. We should see more female pilots, period. Because if you don't, they're going to be saying that's another position they're keeping us from getting. And I know a few female pilots that are actually better than a lot of men I know. Right, Herman? Luna Pearl?
Hold on. Time
Yeah,
out. Time out. No one can keep you from anything you didn't show up to.
that's true. That's true. You're right about that. You are right.
You know what I mean? So
Well,
I don't know. And when I honestly, I don't really like to talk about the subject, but in the beginning, and in my opinion,
yeah.
from dealing with the people that I've dealt with and speaking to people
Mm-hmm.
and see how certain things are in certain circles. Those things are toys. I don't play with toys.
Right.
You understand? That's for you and your friends. I don't play with toys.
That's true. That's true. When I speak to someone
Now,
and they're like, "Oh,
right, and I guess it has to do with the mindset that of like
so damn it, it was a toy."
right. So like exactly. So they don't take to it.
They don't
So
respect it.
right. So like certain like me, for instance, me, my mindset, I don't care what it is. Like I have it. I got trains. I can show you trains that's older than people in the chat or lurking.
I have a metal Lionel
No, no, it's
engine.
right here.
Yeah,
It's right here behind the drones.
yeah.
I got it when I was 2 years old.
I have a metal train
You know, so
that I
what I'm
used to play with
saying,
Herman, literally when I was a little boy, and my uncles played with it, and it still runs.
I have the Spirit of '76, the bicentennial, the engine.
Hmm.
It's right up here on the shelf behind the drones. Um, I collect those kind of things, like the
Right. You have a
Adam,
Batmobile.
Adam West and Burt Ward Batman. I have
See?
the action figures in the box,
Hmm.
still in the closet.
Right.
You know,
You collect them, and right. So,
so
so for someone to
I'm that
say
kind
that,
of guy that. So when you start talking about these things of toys, yeah, they kind of could be, but
depending on, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
depending on to
It's
who.
different for some people. So I think mostly when the mindset when it comes to women that they're toys, and a lot of them they belittle the situation. And I'm not saying that's all. I'm just saying that for a lot, you know. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's why when
Jim's
you say
droning
that there's
says
not so many
he has the
people
original
working in
bat.
the business, then that's where it comes from.
What
What
happened?
happened?
Jim's droning was saying he has the original Batmobile too. I was telling him that you did also.
I wish I did have the Batmobile. I have the Burt Ward and the Adam West
Oh, I
Batman.
thought you had the Batmobile with it.
Yeah.
My bad, Jim's. Hey, Bill, how are you?
I wish I had the Batmobile. You know, certain things disappeared when I went to college.
Yeah, I know how it
When,
is. You go out.
when they
So,
did the spring cleaning, all of the
oh, they did the
Tonka,
spring cleaning and
gone.
spring cleaned you out.
Yeah, all of the Tonka was gone when I came back.
Wow. And
All
I
of
had
it
the yellow dump truck, the Caterpillar dump
gone,
truck, and a crane from Tonka.
gone. Fire truck gone.
Wow. Wow. When you went away to college.
Hmm. But anyhow, switch gears a little bit. Those of you know that Lawrence and I posted on Facebook. We were doing a little bit of work at uh, at the site, and it's funny because I remember when I was when I finished high school, I was supposed to go to college early, and I didn't. I was I had no real plans, but I was going to go to college, and I got out of school, I graduated early, finished my requirements early, and my father didn't like the idea of me hanging out.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't like that. And my father was an electrician because that's what everybody in his family did.
Right.
And he took me down to this electrical supply house, and I got a job there. 18 years old, loading trucks, stocking merchandise in the warehouse. And years later, after leaving there, I went. Well, it's a union company, so it's the same union as as in construction. So from there, I moved into going into construction, becoming an electrician. Went to trade school for the 5.5 years, became an electrician, blah 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 blah. Since then, started flying drones and stuff like that, and started doing what I'm doing now. And one day, driving past the location, I noticed that the building was gone because they had changed hands, and the owner of the business, he sold the name of the company, and the people who bought the name moved the company to another location. So they used the building to open up another business that did the same thing. And I guess years later, like I said, I passed by and I noticed that it was just a lot. It was done, nothing but dirt with a fence around it. And I was like, wow, I need to get in touch with whoever the GC is here because I have got to get this. I've got to get this. And I told you, Lawrence, I said, until I find the GC, I'm going to go and I'm going to get shots of this dirt as long as they got machinery there. And what happened? The GC approached us and they said,
Yeah,
listen, we're looking for a drone pilot and we're trying to figure out a way of how to make this work.
yeah.
And I'm like, well,
I remember that day they walked up to us.
I'm right here. And in between that time that they did approach us, I had left several cards at their trailer for them to contact me, and
Hmm.
they did contact us. And the guy was saying that we worked out something to where they needed the partners, Riseboro and the 326 Rockaway Avenue partners worked out a deal for them to get progression photos of the building coming out of the ground. And they gave us a timeline that this building would take to come out of the ground to completed the top level. We worked out a contract with them, and we showed up there every so often to get shots of the building, not only for different things that were happening, because they gave us a schedule when they were going to pour concrete, different stuff, when they
Yeah,
were going to do this and when they were going to do that.
we supplied metadata.
Right.
They did
And
a few things.
we supplied them monthly shots, and we have all kind of stuff from concrete pours to everything. And they
From the
act,
dirt.
the building is actually completed now, and the building has featured a mural on the building that happens to be the tallest mural in Brooklyn.
Yes.
And we were there so long that we got to see them prep the wall, the mural being done, and we got the footage of the mural. And Lawrence um, flew this shot here and put together this video of this mural being done, and I've got to say anything but nothing but to call it what it is, royalty.
Yeah.
Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty.
Now, before we go any further, I just wanted to say that this particular building that we got to work on and shoot is they're putting up a lot of buildings in New York City, and this building is specifically for children who've aged out of the foster care system.
Right.
So the mural actually has a lot to do with children aging out of the system and going into the real world. Because pretty much once you age out of the foster care system, you're considered an adult and you have to get a job and have a house. Well, this place puts you in for housing when you're out, and they try to help you maintain a job and a place to live until you can live on your own. So it was it was an experience working there and knowing having this little bit of information about this one building.
That was our first big project.
Yeah, yeah. Hey Lon, how are you? Hope all is well. But um it was a good project to work on to bigger and
Yeah.
better things, right?
Oh yeah. More to come.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And for those of you who missed the FPV corner, you'll have to watch the replay.
Oh, I'm
But,
sorry.
well, we are past that, and we just passed our second a sponsor.
Oh, well,
Two
let's
more.
go get that. Let's go get that sponsor. And we'll
Yes,
be right
yes.
back with more. For those,
Uh-oh.
if you're looking to get out there and do all the work and leave all of the office work to someone else, then Drone Adair is for you. Place to find tools to make you a more knowledgeable pilot, then Drone Adair is for you. Place where people can look for you and find you and book you for more jobs, then Drone Adair is for you. The link in the description for Drone Adair, guys. Make sure you check that out in the description below.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
And welcome to Wednesday night with those guys.
I'm having a little bit of issue over here.
I soared because the first 5 seconds of of that.
Right?
Yeah, right. And then the video actually skipped from one transition straight into. I don't know what
Mhm.
that was about. Well, we know what it is, but
I kind of
sorry
figured it
about
out what it is.
that. Okay.
I know. I think I know what it is, and it's weird that it's doing that because it should be better the way I'm doing it, not the way it wants it to be done. But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, but that was
That job with is
Ooh.
and go ahead.
Hank.
I just
Hank was the first. Hank was the first thing that we really ever did
yeah,
professionally. But
yes.
this was like the first big thing, the first thing that was ever real.
Mm-hmm.
Big contract and NDAs and all kind of stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and keep in mind where we shot all this progression work, there's a
The
prison right
need,
across the street. As
yeah,
I'm backing away from the mural, you can see on the left side there's a prison there.
over the
And then
prison.
on the other side of the prison is a police precinct. So before we even started the job, we had to go to the police precinct and let them know, hey, if you hear reports of a drone in that immediate area, we've been hired by the contractors to
Oh, they were good about
fly their sites. And the police were cool about it, but just in case, we did have to chase a drone pilot out of there. Remember that, Herman?
it. Yeah.
The jack, because people, I understand you're trying to get work, so you go up to a job site and you say, hey, let me get some drone pictures, and before you do that, word of advice, go to the site and ask them, do they have a drone pilot? Because this guy pulled up in a car and we're shooting, we're there working, and Herman goes, hey, there's a drone. We find out, I follow the drone back to where it lands, and it's a guy, he's trying to get shots
Mhm.
to perhaps get work. We get it. We get it. I'm just saying there, fortunately we were there working. I didn't chase him away, but I did tell him don't come around here again.
Oh, okay.
But and he did try to make it seem like he was doing work for them. I said, "No, I know you're lying because my company has been hired to do their drone work, and I have proof right here to show it." And then he kind of like, oh well, they're on to me, and that, and he got in his car and he broke out, and he never came
Can you,
back.
can you slap people at that point?
Can you slap people at that point after they've been warned? Yes. First initial meeting, I don't think so.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So, but it
No, I
was
mean, when
interesting.
you catch them lying.
What if you catch them lying? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I told him, look, now I know you're lying and you don't work for these people because my company does.
There's a lot of that
I
going
did want
on.
to tell him, don't come back around here again, and or something would happen because then that would be considered a threat, and I don't want them to say he said it. I heard him.
He didn't tell you.
So I kept it political. He understood.
All right. You kept it political.
He kept it political. Basically,
Oh,
he just left with the impression that if he came back, his drone might hit the ground.
oh.
That's
And he
all.
didn't tell you. Oh, that was surprising.
Yeah, yeah, he's one of our biggest fans. It's got to be, you know.
No, I'm just okay. So
All
no,
right,
but
on
I've seen
news. On with the stream.
no, but there's things out there, right? Because and I know you've seen the articles. Um, because I saw there was a drone DJ and a was that damn what the hell was that other article?
Yeah,
Some one of these other online magazines. There was big talk, and it's funny because I did thought that a lot of times stuff that drone DJ has, you don't really see it most other places unless it's like stuff that you would see on like like some worldly kind of stuff. But anyhow, um, it's funny because we're talking about these drones and the world leading drone maker DJI, right? It's always about DJI, right? They've
yeah,
officially released. They've officially released the 2025 edition of its drone security white paper. So
yes,
it's a compilation of comprehensive compilation of years of their I guess their safety and their privacy and their basically ba- basically their whole safety protocol and what it is as far as the publishing and to the whole ecosystem, how safe DJI's whole drone ecosystem is. If you follow what I'm saying.
yeah.
So I don't know so this has been published since what 2020 since 2020,
2020.
right?
I thought it was 2022.
I
I
thought
could
it
be
was
wrong.
20.
Hold on, 2020. Yes,
Right.
published in
They,
2020. I'm sorry.
right, and it's become a crucial reference for enterprise users and people who are in the public service agencies, right?
Yeah.
As to whatever this thing has says as because you remember we had what was it the audit that was done on DJI the last one
Mm-hmm.
FTA
By
FTA
companies here in the United States.
right and within in the government as well done these audits on DJI before, and they found that these things were safe. But as far as these white papers are concerned, they go as far talking back to saying the privacy by design of the basically control of the user.
Yes.
And now this speaks to what we know as a local flight data mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all know how that actually works. We understand that actually, and the funny part we talk about going back to 2020, right? DJI has always had the 2020, right? But this, like I said, these white papers go as far as going from talking about the control by the user to the bugs budget, the bugs
They pretty much go into
that
detail.
bugs program, right?
Right. They
Right.
go
That
in.
bugs, remember. But
It.
let me ask you this, and
Yeah.
and you can go from there. This bugs program, right? That's been going on since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Now the transparency from DJI, there's been more scrutiny as they've been more transparent.
Right.
So what can they possibly do? Let me ask you, and you can give your answer to that and give what you were going to say.
Well, first I have to say that by DJI creating these white pages, and I've already seen one or two videos of other influencers talking about these white pages. DJI is putting your neck in a guillotine and saying, "This is all we have." We've been audited. We've been tested by the government. We've been audited by the government. We've been audited by private companies. Our operating system is so secure that the drone can almost guarantee it will not be taken over upon takeoff because it randomizes the frequencies that they use that in their protocol to fly.
Right.
So a lot of people you don't notice, but your DJI drone, every time it takes off, it starts off at one frequency. Then just before it takes off, it switches to another frequency. And this band switching ensures that no one can lock into a channel and secure data that's being transmitted. Okay. The same thing happens with in FPV with data being transmitted back and forth. DJI has hung their neck on the line and said there's nothing you don't know about our drones. And they've even gone as far as to let companies take their SDKs, which they use to create the Fly app and the DJI Pilot 2. They've gone under the software has gone undergone rigorous security hardening dynamics, everything from encryption of local files to anti-tampering mechanisms. They claim um, their thermal SDKs and their payloads and all of this information has been released, but yet the United States cannot decide what the hell they want to do.
Now, Lawrence, when I said to you back when the NDAA was released, I said to you that this is bad because if the United States does business as usual, it's a stay of execution because they don't have to move on anything. They don't
Yep,
have to prove anything that they've been saying about DJI.
yep,
They just have to wait it out because that's how they wrote it. They wrote it so we don't have to do anything. We can
right,
wait it out and let them end up on that list. And after they end up on that list, there's nothing they can do about it.
right. They
Now,
have to stop here.
now hold on. We have mentioned, and since we've mentioned it,
Hmm.
you've heard other live streams talk about how they've hired Loretta Lynch. She's with the
Yep.
Weiss firm. Now, let me explain something to you. And this is why I lost faith in that situation. The Weiss firm also brought cases against this administration or the helm of this administration, and they were denied White House clearance and other federal clearance by this administration. As lawyers, they were withheld that clearance.
Yeah.
So now to get that clearance back, they not only had to agree to X amount of hours of free legal work to this administration, I'm
Hmm.
calling a spade. And those of you who don't like it, tune into your friends. Um, this is that firm, the Weiss firm. Like I said, they not only let the attorney who did bring that case to court
Hmm.
stand alone on that. You understand? But they did what they had to do to get their security clearance back. Now, I'm not saying whatever was done was right or wrong. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Whatever happened, happened. That's not cool. That's not legal business. That's some Gestapo shit. You understand? That's not cool.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
have faith in a firm to be able to do anything when you have stuff like that happening to you with the person that or the people or the administration that you have to deal with. So for anybody who thinks that the Weiss firm is cool, fine, and good with DJI, I'm not saying that they can't do anything. I'm not saying don't hold your breath.
Yeah, yeah. There's been very little representation from that organization, and
Don't hold your
and
breath.
and, and like you said, all that was mentioned was who was going to be handling things. I've yet to see one thing she's done in this case.
I'm not saying that she hasn't done anything. What I'm saying
I
to
am.
you
I
is
haven't seen shit.
these things take time, and you're not privy to all of the information. But
That's
but
true.
from what we do know is that the firm is compromised by the same administration that they're fighting. You understand?
Right.
And if it wasn't this administration, be another administration.
That's
You
true.
understand?
That you're right about that. Because they all seem to work in cahoots for certain purposes of money.
And you
And
know, and the guys who listen, the guys who said, "Oh, they tried to take away our hobby," and the guys said, "No, they got you climbing trees, thinking you're going crazy.
uh-huh.
Come down off." Come down
Oh
off the
shit.
tree.
Frank Jody says, well, the Treasury Department ain't going to like it when we start sending them a bunch of our bills for our DJI drones that we cannot fly. That's
Well,
true. That's true.
I mean,
Organizations that have tens,
they're
if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in DJI drones.
they're not
So,
saying that they're gonna ground your drones that you're flying right now. You probably won't be able to get anything new. And you might have to get used to the fact that you won't see anything. Because, like I said to you, whatever it takes for the Weiss firm to get whatever the logistics done and get everything done and be able to get things right for DJI, it's going to take some time. If it's not going to take any time, it's not going to get done. They have up until what is it, December 20? What? I don't think they get this done.
yeah,
If
yeah.
not,
Just
if
end of
not,
the year.
if not, let's forget about it. Let's get used to it. And I told you guys this quite some time, but you were waiting for your friend to tell you that a ban on DJI is a ban on consumer drones. Why? Because of all of the nuisances that you guys have become. And I'm not saying you pointing the finger at you,
Right, not
anybody,
you directly, but he's speaking
but
generally.
amongst the drone community, because you got to take the good and the bad with everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We got to take the bad with all of the good that we are. And that is what we are. Sorry to say, but
it is. It's sad, but it's true. I mean, and there are people that
there are
honestly
good
believe.
people and there are bad people.
But I need to put this out there also. There are people who honestly believe that by DJI not being sold in the United States, they will go out of business. Oh, quite wrong,
No, I don't
because
think anybody
the
believes that.
United States. No, I was having a conversation earlier. The United States is a small percentage of the drone market around the world.
I wouldn't say
As far as
percentage.
our actual percentage, I don't
I,
have the actual number.
I wouldn't say a small percentage, but I wouldn't say we're the number one market. I would believe the
Right,
number one
right.
market is in China,
Yes,
and
yes, of
maybe
course it
maybe
is.
us, or maybe us, or Europe, and then us.
I would say Asia, Europe, then us,
You think so?
because you
Well,
can
yeah,
fly.
yeah. I would say it would probably in the shift because, and this was something
Right
that
now, they got
always
Mavic
interests
Fours.
me. No, but this is something that always interests me, and I thought it was funny because we always had no problem with enterprise drones here, right? But yet enterprise drones were being released and they were here in the States, but none of the public agencies were going to buy any new ones.
Yep.
So we
Yeah.
had drone after drone coming out that none of our public agencies would know how great they were
You're
because
100%
they
right.
can't use them. They can't
Yeah.
buy them.
Or they were just given a budget to buy drones, and now their order's been held up. You can't get batteries. Stuff is going to get hard. Can
And
someone send a new DJI into America as a gift?
and
No, you can actually.
you,
What you'd have to do, Rob, is you can't even
um
identify it as a drone.
um you, there's
You'd have to
actually
put it in a box that said old socks or something, because
honestly
that's the only way it's getting in the country.
you can um it's going to cost a lot on the shipping, and you have to deny the fact that there's batteries in the box and hope all is well.
That's true. That is true.
Because when oh wow, you know what we forgot, Lawrence? Oh damn.
Second sponsor, third sponsor, what?
Well, all of that, but when we had FPV Corner, we
Oh,
forgot
we
to
forgot to
give
do a giveaway.
we forgot to give away the strobe.
I'm gonna make a mental note to myself that we have during FPV Corner, we give away drone strobes, and send it over in parts. No, Jimmy, no,
No, you didn't got to do that
no.
because I've sent stuff to Canada to some people, and most people that I send stuff to Canada, they get it with
Except for a
batteries in it.
certain individual in
Except
our
for
chat.
Joe, I'm gonna send this box next week.
We've been trying to get some stuff that Jim's won. By the time he gets it, all of his stuff, he's gonna have a bigger box. No?
Probably. You know what, Lawrence?
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's almost that. It's almost. Let's get through this drone news here. We got. So yeah.
I thought you were gonna give away a strobe, but we'll do it next FPV corner.
No, we can. I just want to get through this real quick. We can
Okay.
do it at the end of the stream.
Okay.
We do have this thing here with the Mini 3 is seems to not be on stock on DJI's online site, but Amazon seems to happen to have a deal for the Mini 3 Fly More combo, as well as the Mini. That's with the I guess with the Mini 3 Fly More combo with the RC, the DJI RC.
Yeah.
You have that link, right, Lawrence?
I have it right here actually. This is interesting. Looking at the price,
Oh yeah.
and I don't
Because
even
considering
own a
how you
Mini, but huh?
considering how you can't. Well, no, that's the other one.
Oh,
The the R
you want
that
this one? Hold
that
on.
one
You want this one here. Sorry, my bad.
that
Wrong window.
with the RC
Here
controller.
we go. Here we go with the RC2.
Yeah, with the RC controller. Yeah,
Yeah, for six
one
hundred
is
and
600.
$29.
Yeah, can't beat that. Can't beat it because you
Yeah,
can't
Fly More
find these.
combo for $629. You get the R2 radio, and wow, now that's crazy. Christmas time, and they
Forget
look they
about
still have it
Christmas
in
time.
stock.
Guys, buy it while you can, because if you can't, and I don't want you guys to go through price gouging and these things go up to prices to where the Mini is like not even worth paying for. And they have the same drone with the regular RCN1 controller, which was the first ad that Lawrence posted. So if you're
Yeah, that's
interested
this.
in that,
This one's even cheaper, bro.
yeah, you can jump on
Hold
that
on.
right away.
Hold on. Is this one it? Yep, $369. You get the old N1 radio, but
Yeah.
come on, for $369.
Still
How
a
can you
good drone. Still
how
a
can
good
you beat that?
camera. You got 4K capability. You cannot beat that.
Yeah, yeah. 38-minute flight time. I mean, come on, seriously. Look on Amazon. They have it in stock. You know why? Because those drones are sitting in Amazon warehouses.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. Now, as far as that Mini 5 Pro that y'all think is going to come out in August, um, I don't think so. But we shall see.
Well, I
Rules
don't
and
know.
things change every day, so who knows?
True. Well, you know what? I wanted to move over the two lines.
What's that?
This this guy, this Baltimore man, he pled guilty to flying over the NFL playoff game, and we've all heard of this. We all heard that, right? We all heard that, right? The man that pled guilty. Yeah, we all heard that. So he pled guilty, right? And the U.S. Attorney, see, because this is where it really gets serious, because the U.S. Attorney, right? He's the U.S. Attorney officially made this statement, but for the District of Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
he's announced that this person who flew his drone over the NFL stadium back in January.
You're still there?
Serious because
You were out
yeah,
for
you
the
can't hear
last.
me.
Yeah, now I can. You can start over.
Oh
Go ahead. I
well,
can hear you now. I didn't hear the first 10
okay.
seconds.
Well, I don't know. Well, I'll start from here. The the U.S. Attorney office for the District of Maryland, he's announced officially that the person who flew their drone over the NFL.
I think that it's Herman's still with us.
Really,
You just now came back to us. I
he
don't know what
goes.
that is. And he's gone again. Yep, he is gone. Anyway, welcome to Wednesday night with those guys. We hope you appreciate everything that we do. We just want to keep letting you guys know a little bit in the drone, what's going on in the camera drone community, as well as a little bit of the FPV community. I plan on working on something new towards the FP to doing the FPV corner. I just got an idea that I shot past Lady FPV, who was on earlier, and she thinks it's a good idea. So if I could pull this off, we may have a different type of FPV segment and add to scene. There you go.
Okay, I'm
You're
back.
back. On the other side, now you're over here.
What I was trying to say before the internet was disrespectful, um, that this gentleman pled guilty to violating national defense airspace. Now, let me break down to you why that's so dangerous and why that's so bad. Because he was flying during the TFR. And I know a lot of
Yeah.
you guys, and I said this earlier, think that, oh no, these things don't happen because I was doing that. That's no big deal. It's no harm, no foul Mondays. But yeah, no harm, yeah, foul. Um, Sometimes the things that we do when we think we get away with it is no harm, no foul. We think nobody's watching because we feel that nobody's got the manpower to watch it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But I've noticed here in New York City, just here in New York City alone, and I can't contest for where anybody else lives. It's not
True.
my business. But from many of the places where we've flown from, the news has a camera on a pole or a building somewhere
Yep.
in an area, and they leverage it for footage every day on the news every morning.
Yes, they do.
Places that we've flown for years.
True.
So
Without incident.
So somebody knows and somebody sees and somebody don't think that you're not that cool, bro, that nobody knows that you're doing anything. So, like I said, please stop trying to be a nuisance. Protect the hobby. Protect
Yeah.
yourself.
Why? And fly while you can. I mean, stop going. The world is coming to an end. If you feel like that about drones now, you might as well just sell all your shit.
Well, I'm not looking at it from the point of
No,
that.
but there are people out there that are literally selling their drone equipment because they won't be able to fly anymore. They
Well,
don't come to the live stream to know that they can still fly and things like that.
I don't know what to tell them, but what I'm saying to you is that you got guys like this gentleman here who
Yeah,
flew over the stadium during the playoff game, and
last year.
you're right. There's many people who think that because he didn't hurt anyone, it was no harm, no foul. If it was reported, it was a foul.
Yep. And it was actually
So
a delay of game
he
because
was
of this.
right. He was reported, and the fact that he pled guilty, he knowingly and willingly broke this airspace restriction. He knew that. Now, what is he hit with, Lawrence? Not only, but is he hit with $500 in fines, but what else
He's
did
get
he?
hit with 500. He's been hit with $500 in fines, 1 year supervised probation, and 100 hours of community service. And this is considered rather light compared to what other offenders have gotten for the similar offense. So maybe they were nice to him. Maybe he had influence. We don't know what the situation may
Well,
have been.
I tell you
But
this.
Herman, they plain out said other people have done the same thing, have gotten worse.
Well, I'll tell you this. The feds give everyone a minimum of 1 year supervised probation
Probation.
because they don't have parole.
True. That
There's
is true.
straight probation with them. Even when you're released from prison, you're on probation with them.
True. I'm just agreeing. Ah, Jody, you
Ah,
made it home.
okay, Jody.
And if
I see.
you realize, you guys remember, there was a time, Herman, that people, wow, it's 7:03. There was a time people were saying, and we got to get out of here, that the FAA isn't doing nothing. What are they doing to crack down? And you're hearing every other month, if not at least every month, of drone pilots that are being caught doing nefarious things.
Well, it's funny you say that because this is another one of the list of pilots who are now being disciplined for their nonsense. Even though you think that you're not a hamperance to the hobby, you're a hamperance to the hobby, and it's no longer for the guys in the hobby to keep crying no harm, no foul. You need to start pointing these guys out and let them stand alone because they're the ones that are taking away your hobby, whether you believe it or not. I know you don't want to believe it now, but you believe it when it won't happen.
Okay, we got to get out of here, man. Plus, the numbers is jumping, fluctuating back and forth.
Well, yeah, I see that, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, and sometimes when you have a technology that you feel that is you can utilize, you can bully and take it over, and leave the
Hmm.
people who pioneered it on the outside trying to get back in.
Yeah.
With that being said, Lawrence, if there's anything else you want to say for the rest before
Be
we get out?
safe, fly safer.
And with that being said, and we'll see you next time with those guys.
Those guys.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
I love those guys.
There we go.